Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about why women test men. But good news, if she's testing you, there's actually a reason why you should be happy about that. I'm going to share that with you in just a minute. We're also going to go over some examples of what those tests might look like, whether or not she's testing you or she's just sabotaging the relationship, and how you can test her to reveal her true character. If you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Jorgensen. I'm a dating coach for men in Vancouver, Canada. If you haven't already hit that like button and subscribe, please do so. Also hit the notification bell so that you'll be alerted whenever I release a new video or post private messages in my community tab. The good news is that if she's testing you, there's a chance she actually might like you, because women don't typically test men they have no romantic interest in. There's no reason to. She's never going to have to rely on you for the long haul. And even if the long haul is a one-night stand for her, women are instinctively wanting to test men to see whether or not she might want to turn a one-night stand into a long haul. And so if she is testing you, then that's actually good news, because there's potential that she's interested in you. But what if she's just mixed up and emotionally not very, what's a good word? What if she's just messed up? What if she's emotionally messed up and she's so damaged from things that have happened to her in her previous relationships, which probably stem from her childhood, that she's just really trying to sabotage the relationship? Well, the difference between testing you and her sabotaging is, do you pass the test? If you actually pass the test well by standing your ground or setting a boundary or following through on a consequence, then she should no longer have to test you on that area. And we'll go through some of the areas in just a minute. But if she continuously tests you in the same areas, then it might be that she's really emotionally damaged, and she's the one that doesn't trust herself, not you. She doesn't trust herself because she's made poor judgment decisions in the past. So she's continuously testing you to see if you are really being consistent. And that's not something that you should actually have to put up with. So if you are attracted to a damaged woman, that's something you really need to look at in yourself as to why you would want to be with someone who's that messed up. If you're not sure if she's super insecure, you can watch my video on Is She Super Insecure? And that will help detail if she actually is sabotaging the relationship or is really insecure or jealous or what have you, and whether or not that's really something you can work with. You don't have to stay with a woman just because she tests you and you keep passing these tests. At some point in time, you have to look at, is it worth it? And if you are passing these tests properly by being a man in his strength, grounded in who you are, and you're still not making headway with this woman, then you chose poorly and you need to move on. And you need to move on and explore why you chose poorly, which probably has something to do with your childhood. I've done other videos on how to discover that, which you can watch. I'll probably put a link somewhere just to help you out with that. All right, so that's if she's sabotaging versus just testing you. Now, if a woman is testing you, she's essentially wants to know that you are what you're presenting yourself to be. Because a lot of times when you like somebody, if you like a girl or like a woman, then you're trying to put your best foot forward, but it's not always the real foot forward. So you're kind of sometimes trying to impress with who you're not really essentially authentically are. And if you do that, then you're going to have to keep doing that forever and ever. And if she senses that there's some incongruency between your words and your actions, then she will actually test you to see if you are actually true to your word. And again, I'll get into the specifics in just 1 minute. Sheesh, so impatient. Okay, the specifics. Here's the minute later. So the reasons why, or the reasons that, no, not the reasons. So some of the examples of how she tests you are if she tests your trigger points. So she might actually try to instigate a fight, or she might try to sort of poke you on a topic that she knows you're sensitive about, just to see how you handle conflict and how your anger management skills are. So are you just like yeah, we're gonna agree to disagree on this one. If it's something serious, or you treat her like a bratty little sister, be playful about it. But if she tests you on something that she's being playful about, and you react or overreact, or handle it poorly, or go into, name calling, or attacking her character, then that's going to reveal something about your character that doesn't make her feel safe. So if she's testing you on trigger points, how you handle that will reveal your true character and will let her know if she wants to move forward with someone like you. Sorry, but that's the way it is. Another way she might test you is on jealousy. She might try to make you jealous, or she might be jealous if she's testing you with other women. So she might say, what do you think of my friend so and so? And she's really trying to see if you think so and so is, pretty or attractive or whatever. And you can say, sure, Ashley is really good looking, but you're the one I want to be with, depending on how that is. Like, if you can tell that she's kind of like insecure about it, then that's what you'd say. Now, if she's just saying, what do you think of Ashley? Well, let's be real. Like, why is she asking you what you think of Ashley? It's a test. If you say she's a cool girl, then just see where it goes from there. You don't always have to reassure her unless she's taking it to the next step. If she's trying to make you jealous of her relationships with other guys, then that's a red flag, because why would she want you to be jealous of other guys? That's a sign that she's insecure and needs attention or validation from other men. And if she needs your attention and validation to up the ante so that she can feel good about herself, you're going to need to go back and watch my Is She Too Insecure video, because that is something that is really challenging to get through. It's going to be a lot of work if you want to actually deal with that. And again, you're going to have to look at yourself and say, why am I with this person? Is she really that good looking? Come on, guys. There's got to be more to a relationship than physical attraction if you want to be successful. And by successful, I mean happy. All right. The third way she might test you is if she changes or cancels plans. So it's a relatively minor test, and she might not even do it intentionally. Most of the tests are really not intentional unless she's really been burned in the past and she really needs to test you. But generally, if it's just like she's a bad time management, or she's disorganized, or it's some kind of, minor character flaw, then you just need to nip that in the bud and say, it's not okay to cancel plans. Like, if we make plans, I've made an effort, I've taken that time out of my schedule to be with you, I expect you to follow through. If you can't do that, then we're not going to make plans anymore. So you don't have to be angry about it. You just have to address it, set boundaries, and establish what the consequences are going to be. Really simple. Like, I mean, these are things that you can do with anybody. You should be doing this with friendships. You should be doing this with other types of relationships, whether they're business or personal. It really doesn't matter. It's training other people how to treat us. Okay, and then the fourth way that she might test you is if you've actually been in a relationship for any length of time, whether you're courting, dating, or maybe even married, and you've changed or she's changed. So if it's you that's changed, like if you've lost your job, there's reasonable expectation that she should be supportive of you for a length of time. That's what couples do. You lift each other up when you're down. But if you've been unemployed and it's years and you're now just gaining weight, eating chips on the couch every day, and you've slipped into the habit of not caring, then yeah, she's going to need to test you on getting you back into the man that she first signed up for. Just like you don't like being in a relationship where she's let herself go or start taking you for granted, or she's changed in some negative way that is not temporary. You're going to expect her to get back to where she was or improve herself to be the kind of woman you want to stay with. So it's reasonable to expect that after a period of time, whatever that time is that is within your relationship, she may see as seeming reasonable, then she's going to need to test you to get you back to where you were. If you've really slacked for longer than what is reasonable and you should really know that within yourself. Now, the other way, of course, is if she's changed. So let's say you got together and she was, maybe a bit overweight, or wherever she felt like she lacked. This is the most common thing that happens, is that she starts to improve herself. She improves her self-esteem, which usually ends up improving her physical health and her body shape. Maybe she grows her hair out, or maybe she cuts it off, or whatever it is. But if she's now in a different place and you're not there with her, she may test to see if you're still the strong man, not physically, but emotionally. If you're the rock that she was that she signed up for, right? Like, are you still there for her? Are you still stimulating her in the ways that she needs to be stimulated? Now, sometimes people grow apart. A lot of times it's women, for whatever reason, they'll grow and then they want you to catch up to them or to continue to grow with them, and then you just don't. And the reality is you just might not be compatible anymore. And sometimes I've actually talked to several guys that it's happened to them, that they've been the one that's outgrown the relationship. But most of the time, the reason why so many divorces are initiated by women is because they become unsatisfied, and they'll hint or sometimes even overtly ask for what they need, and the man doesn't want to give it to them, can't give it to them, isn't interested in giving it to them, or whatever reason, and that means you're just simply no longer compatible. If the two of you met right now, being these two different people, you probably wouldn't even get together. So what's the point in staying together? Now, I'm not saying that the way divorces happen are fair to men, especially in the States. They absolutely are not. But I'm not talking about the result of the divorce. I'm just talking about the incompatibility of the relationship. So those are the 4 areas where she will normally test you. Now, what about you? You should be testing a woman as well, because you want to make sure that the character that she presents is the character you really want to sign up for, setting aside physical attraction. Men are much more confident about a woman that they're physically attracted to or have sexual chemistry with than they are about the qualities behind them. And you'll put up with way too much just to have that sexual connection with somebody. And you really shouldn't. A relationship that is going to succeed, which means longevity and happiness from both sides, has to have more than sexual compatibility. So test her. How can you test a woman? The easiest way for a man to test a woman is in the beginning, and you need to know right up front if she's a feminist or if she's a traditionalist, because those values need to align with yours. Because if you're signing up to be with a feminist, she's going to, and you're not, and you're a traditionalist, then your values are going to clash at some point in time. So if you know ahead of time that she's a feminist, or not a feminist, then this is how you can test a woman based on knowing what you know about her. So it's going to be the 2nd or 3rd date rule, where you are going to let her pick up the tab on the 3rd date, and you're going to see what her reaction is. So if she's a traditionalist and she's told you that right up front, well, then you're going to expect that she's probably not going to want to pay for that 3rd date or 2nd date. But if she's a decent woman, even as a traditionalist, she should want to reciprocate in some way. Is she offering to make you dinner? Has she baked you cookies? Has she done anything to reciprocate in some way to show you that she actually appreciates what you're paying for? If you're paying for a meal, for example. If she's not giving back in some tangible way that you can value, then she's a taker. And even if she's a traditionalist can be okay as long as she's a giver. But if she's a traditionalist and a taker, then to me, that's just a gold digger. Now, what if she's a feminist? Well, a feminist should be okay with paying for that 3rd meal or 2nd meal or splitting the check on the 1st meal, because she believes in equality. Now, if you want to be with a feminist, that's a whole other ball game. But nonetheless, her reaction at splitting the check or picking up the tab on the 3rd date will reveal what her true character is, and how she reacts, whether she's a traditionalist or a feminist, a modern woman, will give you the information you need to know if she's the kind of woman who is gracious and kind and fair, and whether or not you should proceed with her. So just to recap, If she's testing you to see how your reactions and actions are that will reveal your character. If she's testing you after you've already passed these tests and she continuously tests you, that reveals her character. In the first one, it's does she trust you or can she trust you? In the second one, is it can she trust herself? Does she trust herself? So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and remember that if she's testing you, there's at least a chance that she's interested in you. If she's not testing you at all, then you are already officially in the friend zone. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.